Major forewarning before entering this video today, there will be spoilers for the One Piece anime. If you are not caught up to the One Piece manga, I highly advise to skip this video and potentially return back in the future. But once again, if you are only watching the One Piece anime, you will be spoiled by watching this video, so I highly advise to skip this video. Just want to make sure you guys knew that before entering this video today. Without further ado, let's get into the video. What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we are back with a legend concept video. So longtime fans of the channel would remember this type of video. However, if you are relatively new to the channel, well, you know, this type of video may be new to you. I haven't done one of these in a really long time. But due to the nature of where we are at in the One Piece anime right now, a lot of people are building excitement towards this one character. And I feel like this one character, whenever he is going to be dropping in the game, is probably going to be as big as like a Roger Odin type of celebration. This is a hugely anticipated character. So I really can't wait, like many of you guys in the community, for a character such as this to arrive in the game. So once again, I want to say that this is a massive spoiler for One Piece anime watchers. If you are not up to date with the manga, you shouldn't be watching this video. But let's go ahead and reveal my concept for a future released Monkey D. Luffy, Joy Boy, Gear 5, Drums of Liberation, however you want to say it. So of course in this video we're going to go through my own concept as to what I believe a Gear 5 Joy Boy Luffy would be like in One Piece Treasure Cruise. So of course, the way that I feel the character should be definitely might not be the way that you guys think it's going to be. Of course, you have to make it somewhat balanced in some capacity. Yes, I do believe this character probably should be up there with being one of the best legends in the game, but you do have to keep it realistic. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the concept that we have here. So Monkey D. Luffy, Drums of Liberation. I have given this guy the strength typing, and he's also just a mono free spirit character with no additional class. So I felt like giving him just mono free spirit was one kind of way to give him a bit of a drawback. Being focused only on one class, I think, is a pretty good balancing factor, I think, that we've seen in the past before. So you are restricted in terms of the way that you can use him, but of course he gets balanced out with having very powerful abilities. So I guess, speaking of that, you guys are very interested to see what he's got for his captain ability. So here's the full rundown of his captain, giving -1 cooldown to the crew, and then boosting top row characters by 5.6 times, obviously 5.6 or 56, having a big significance with Luffy himself being Gomu, and he also boosts everyone else by a 5 times multiplier as well. Furthermore, there is an interesting line here where it says, protects top row characters from certain status effects. What I mean by this is essentially like V1 Sanji's jump effect, or like a Toki Toki effect, but it's only for the top row characters and it's available all the time, meaning you don't need to worry about bind, despair, special reverse, special bind, blow away. Anything that happens to the top row is completely ignored when this character is the captain. Furthermore, reduces damage taken by 56% in the turns where this character performs an attack, a normal attack. So if you attack with this guy, you get the 56% damage reduction. If you have both of these guys as the captains, then if you attack with both of them, I believe it's only like, you only take like 20% of damage. Like it's like an 80% damage reduction when you multiply it together, which is pretty absurd, honestly. And then furthermore, we'll go on to state that in a turn, when you activate his special ability, then he becomes a rainbow captain in terms of the fact that his normal attacks will be super effective against all types. So obviously, this is incredibly powerful, but it is very focused on the top row. The crewmates essentially get nothing. They just get the 5 times attack boost, and that's pretty much it. This character is carrying you hard as the captain. This character is focused on not only himself, but also the top row. I was considering making everything just for himself, which could also make sense, but I feel like if you want to run him in a hybrid scenario, I feel like it's definitely really useful if you can have this guy ignore status effects to both captains, and also providing the huge boost also to both captains. So I really like the way that this has come about. It's a very strong captain ability, and I think if we saw this in today's climate in Treasure Cruise, he definitely would be probably one of the best captains in the game, due to the fact that you have one of the highest multipliers in the game. He gives you cooldown, he gives you really good damage reduction. Like, just with his captain ability alone, you could pretty much tank death hits, essentially, depending on the situation, of course. And he can also be potentially super effective against all types. It's just incredibly strong. Even if you took out the super effective against all types effect, he still would be incredibly strong, you know? It's just a very powerful captain ability, which is very suited to the character. Of course, when you get access to his captain ability, you'll also get access to his superclass. So, of course, he's going to be superclass just for free spirit. I was thinking also about making him for super type for strength, but considering he is only focused on one class, I feel like, you know, the super type / class effect should also be for that class as well. So in order to activate it, you need both captains to be free spirit characters, which is not a very bad condition at all. If you use him as the captain, that's already fulfilling half of the requirement. You just need the other captain to also be free spirit. So of course it is a little bit of a drawback, and kind of restricts team building in a little bit of a way, but of course it's still very, very strong. Now the effect itself states that it removes any matching or unfavorable slot effects placed on the crew, changes all slots including block into matching, locks your slots for 1 turn, and changes free spirit into super free spirit. So a lot of people may ask, what is that first line really referring to? This is the same type of effect that Sabo and Koala provide with their special, where they're like the only character in the game that will actually remove any like orb unfavorable effect that is on your crew. So if the enemy inflicts you with, like, you know, all type slots are badly matching for X amount of turns, this superclass effect will remove the duration of it completely, which is fantastic. And as I said, you know, Sabo, Koala are the only character in the game that can actually do that. So the fact that this character can do that and then give you matching slots and then lock them for 1 turn, of course it is like a pseudo Roger in a way, which is where I got a lot of inspiration for this character for sure. But overall, a very powerful superclass effect that can be used in a lot of really cool scenarios. Let's go ahead and talk about the special ability, which is also very, very important to the Monkey D. Luffy character. The special on a 13-turn cooldown will deal 1 million fixed damage to all enemies, ignoring defensive effects, defense, and normal attacks only. Then, furthermore, will boost a selected status by 3 times, and also minus 50% resistance for free spirit characters to all enemies for 1 turn. So, the boosted selected status can range from attack up, slot effect boost, and also color affinity, type effects of normal attacks. So this character, as I said, you know, gets a lot of inspiration from Roger in the fact that you can basically have this guy be a Roger, but instead of just being an attack buff, you could also make it an orb boost, or you could make it color affinity. And of course, whenever you activate the special of Luffy, he's going to be super effective against all types, so the color affinity is always going to be a pretty nice choice for the character. And also a little nice additional bonus damage buff of applying a 50% resistance down to enemies for your free spirit characters, so Luffy gets an additional 1.5 boost from that alone. So it is a much more powerful special from what we've seen before. Not too many characters are able to do that all in one, and the fact that a lot of characters that inflict resistance are only like relegated to super types, super classes, switch effects, etc. I can't really think of any characters at the top of my head that actually apply resistance with the special activation itself. So I think that this is, I think like the Chopper from Film Red also does it. But yeah, this is a really cool effect, and especially if you're able to use multiple Luffys on the same turn, you can get, you know, 3 times attack, 3 times orb boost, or whatever you want to do, and then also get minus 100% resistance for 1 turn. So you can see how you can stack 2 Luffys together to get the most out of this, and where you can actually do lots and lots of damage towards the enemy. One other additional effect that I decided to give him was Final Tap. I feel like, you know, with a character of this caliber, he's probably going to have Super Tandem or Final Tap. But due to the fact that, you know, this character was essentially in just a one-on-one fight with Kaido, I don't think a Super Tandem actually makes a lot of sense for him. So I think that Final Tap, whenever this character does release in the game, he's going to have Final Tap in my opinion. But I think that his Final Tap, I went with something relatively basic. It's essentially the exact same Final Tap as the K-Dad that recently released on One Piece Treasure Cruise, except for free spirit characters, it's going to be that instead of the slasher characters that K-Dad would do. I think that Luffy crew with their really unique Final Tap, I think a lot of people are going to draw inspiration from that and maybe make a buffed version of that. Or I was considering making it a higher multiplier just because it is mono free spirit and just because it is, you know, Gear 5 Nika Luffy. So I think that this one could probably change as things progress, and it is going to be interesting to see what they actually decide to do for this character whenever he does officially release. But giving him a Wano slot and also doing the damage, additional damage on top of your final damage, depending on the normal attacks of your other free spirit characters, definitely like neuters him a little bit just compared to the Luffy crew. Luffy crew are just on a whole other level. They definitely didn't think too much when they designed that character at all. But overall, it's still an amazing final tap that would definitely see play in the game, and especially when you have Luffy that can hit as hard as what he does. If you run double Luffy, you can have one dedicated to the final tap, and you can have another Luffy that is dedicated to doing as much damage as possible. Moving forward, we can have a quick discussion about his support effect. So what I've done is I've attached it to any free spirit character, and at level 5, it applies a minus 10% free spirit resistance to all enemies for 1 turn. It's a pretty nice effect. There's the other character that came out recently, the VV support rare recruit, that attaches to one of the Straw Hats that arrived at Alabasta, and it does like a minus 10% resistance for Strength X Quick. So drawing a lot of inspiration from that, being able to do that just for free spirits, attaching to any free spirit character. If you're running a free spirit team, you want to have this as support, if not on the team itself, right? So a very, very powerful support effect for sure. And then, of course, some less important things talking about his crewmate abilities. One of them just being a 560 base attack boost if he is the last character to attack, and also reducing his own special bind and reverse by 5 turns so that his special ability is more accessible. But of course, if you're using this guy on your team, you're probably just straight up going to be using him as the captain. I was also considering like dulling his special a little bit if he wasn't the captain, like potentially making the multipliers lower if he wasn't the captain, or if you don't have a free spirit captain, then you lose a little bit of the buffs, something like that. So that could definitely help balance out the character just a little bit. But overall, the crewmate abilities aren't too important. This character is mainly supposed to be used as the captain, as we can all probably understand. And with all that being said, that is going to wrap it up from me. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about the legend concept for Monkey D. Luffy, Drums of Liberation. And of course, make sure to go ahead and leave your thoughts and opinions on what you would like to see for a potential Gear 5 Luffy later on down the line. We don't know when a character such as this is going to ever arrive in the game. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that it's a pretty good chance for it to be the anniversary character, the 9th anniversary for One Piece Treasure Cruise, but it is very dependent into where the One Piece anime is at that time. They may have to delay it for maybe the 0.5 anniversary or maybe New Year's next year. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I would love it to line up with the anniversary next year, but once again, it is dependent on the anime. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.